Welcome to Dynasty Time 2015. I am very excited to launch our 10th season in business with the announcement that we are switching websites over to myfantasyleague.com in favor of RT Sports, which is where we started back in 2006. I'm very excited about this. Back in January, I started thinking about it, mostly due to the fact that it had a lot of features in bringing in the league history. And with our 10th year coming up, I thought this was very exciting, and I wouldn't have to do that manually, which I had started last season. And so that was the first part. But then over the course of the winter, every once in a while, I'd check the new features, and I got really excited about what the site can offer. So the last 3 or 4 weeks, been putting it together. A lot of time went into this, not going to lie, the majority of my time. But I'm very excited from the league history part to all the other features. I looked at over 20 other leagues to make sure our site worked well and had all the information you needed at your fingertips. This is just a first draft, but hopefully it's a good start to a new era in Dynasty Time. The following tutorial is here to get you familiar with the site. MFL is a little confusing. I tried to make it pretty easy to maneuver around. But hopefully this makes it even easier to get you started at the new site. This is just the beginning. Very excited to get started at dynastytime.net. All right, so we are going to go to the new Dynasty Time website. There are a few ways to get there. Obviously, we're at myfantasyleague.com, so you can go to myfantasyleague.com, search for the league Dynasty Time, and click in through there. Fortunately, you can also bookmark the site or just type in on any device if you don't know the site. Dynastytime.net is our website. So once I click in, this is the website. So it's pretty cool. I'm going to log out as the commissioner or as Badger Pride to show you. Right here is where you log in. So I'll log in as Badger Pride just to start. And from here, most of the stuff you need to do will be just on these tabs, which is probably one of my favorite parts. Is it's really quick to maneuver and pretty obvious where things should be. Things will move around a little bit. For example, on this main page, we have the league article there. We have brief standings. You can also click into the teams from here. Franchise owner activity, so we can see when people have visited. Weekly results. This is something that might change, but I don't really know what it's going to look like until we start. Monday report, things like that. So this is the main page. Pretty brief, but we can move on to the other tabs. My team. So every team has a logo that looks like this. Has their record, championships, titles, playoff appearances. Obviously, I'm not doing too well with only 3. But on the right side, you have my options to take you to other places. So franchise setup, for example, if we go there real quick, this is where you can change your password, customize some things like your logo, although I'd recommend not doing that without me knowing because everything's pretty uniform right now. Contact information as well as wireless. So you can get text messages for that seems like a lot of live scoring updates, but you can do that. But like trade proposals, reminder to set your lineup or inactives on the day of, things like that, which actually might be pretty useful. So that's the franchise setup. But all this other stuff, you can do a lot of it within the tabs. Otherwise, you can click these buttons. Here on the My Team tab, you can set the lineup. You see your lineup deadline, bye week, your schedule over here. Pretty easy stuff. Your top 5 news articles. Doesn't look like Doug Martin's going to be back. Surprise. And then your draft list if you use that. Game day you'll spend a lot of time on. MFL does a preview, generated preview, with some really awesome quotes, I guess. And then the all-time series, we now have a lot of history stuff, which is one of the main reasons I switched here. We have chat over here, which will be cool, hopefully. A matchup chart, which I'll fill in, you'll see. And then recaps on the right side, you'll see the scores. I'm going to recommend not clicking on details because the default scoreboards aren't that great. So instead, I've loaded in a new module that's this Habman. He has a lot of coding stuff that he's done for MFL. So if you click on that, that'll bring you to an actual score page that's a little bit better. a little bit, just looks a little bit better. Has the normal things like player minutes remaining, players yet to play, things like that. And also on this page, you can kind of set this here on your browser, reset your lineups. Chat is right here. News is pretty much right here, so you can kind of see what's going on, and you can easily click around as well as clicking on the actual NFL game. So this is pretty cool. It'll look better, obviously, when we start putting people in our lineups. So that's the game day tab. Standings, pretty self-explanatory. Everybody has their own icon that I made. If anybody knows how to make these spectacular, some sites are really good. Mine are, made in PowerPoint. But I think they work for now. Hopefully you like your colors. So that works. You can click on any of them. The power rankings are down here. And then projected seedings eventually will automatically show up for each conference. These next few are probably not going to be used quite as much. Newest transactions, trade management, or trade block, top free agents, top ads, things like that should be good. On the news page, this is just general NFL news. So like Adrian Peterson's complaining a lot right now, so you can click into what the heck's going on, and you can click in there and go back. League news feed, obviously pretty standard. And that's the news tab. You can also search up here, I believe, in the reports tab. So that's another place where you can search for a player. Stats, this is kind of cool. Just top starters, top players, top owns, and then these charts that are points allowed, bar chart, things like that. So some of this stuff might move around once we learn what it looks like, but that's it. On the draft side, pretty standard stuff as well. Top 10 steals and busts is pretty new. Average time, I don't know, you won't really look at this too much, but it should look pretty good. History, this is one of the reasons why I switched to MFL. So we have our little plaque here, which is great. Playoffs, division titles, championships. This was manually done by me, but I had done this last summer. And then this is where MFL comes in. So franchise records, like who has the most points in a week? Blue 32. Who has the most points in a season? Blue 32. Record streaks, Blue 32 in 2007. He had a good year in 2007. Jamal Charles, Blue 32, 55 points. And you can click into any of these and see more. So if I go into season records, all season records, I can also sort this by total points scored, total points allowed. This might be interesting. MFL had a rough year in 2011, allowing the most points ever. And so that's kind of cool. You can also come up to reports and go to records and see some other stuff. So you have all-time series records, so you can see how you're doing against each team. The other cool one to me is the matchup records. So this you can see the highest combined scored games, the highest margin of victory, and sort by any of that stuff. You can also go back to any league year. So I can go all the way back to 2006 at this point. Not everything is filled in, but a lot of it is. You have your standings, and you can go to like schedules and see, Blue 32 beat Wheel Smunzy in week 1 of the first year that we did this. We have the old names that are still connected back to the other team. So that's about all you can do here. These are all pretty generic templates, but I wasn't going to take time to do that. And that's pretty much it. Anytime you want to go back, click on this icon, and that'll bring you back to the main page. And that's what we got for the most part. These tabs can be pretty useful to do anything. Change your passwords right there, submit lineups right here. If you click submit lineup there, you'll get a more robust than the tab that I showed you earlier, so you can see the opponent, all that. So that's a way to do it. But if you already know you're just switching one thing out, just using the tab works great. And then communications. We can do all these other things like text message the league, email the league, league video conference, stuff like that. Some of that we probably won't use. You could also do video trash talking. Again, not sure we'll use that, but pretty sweet. And like I said, the links tab, league links. We have Twitter, Facebook, Dynasty Time Twitter, and then the off-season sheets. So you can download the off-season sheets right here. However, in future years, my last comment here will be that each player will be able to show exactly what he does. So you'll see where he was drafted, what his contract status is, was he 1-yeared or multi-yeared, and if he's keepable or DP eligible, essentially. So everything should be in each player's biography moving forward. This year I didn't add that in yet, but for now we have the normal Excel sheet. I'll still probably do the Excel sheet to keep track of it, but this is pretty cool to me that we're able to see all of it in there. So hopefully that 10-minute video will get you excited about the new site. Any suggestions are welcome moving forward. But big changes probably won't happen at this point because there's some coding that I've done behind the scenes. But I'm always willing to see if people like the different modules in different places. So looking forward to people checking it out, and we'll go from there. Anytime that you have any questions about the site, feel free to reach out to me, but the help section's pretty good. So if you go to search help, say I want to see if they have iPhone apps. So you can just search in there, and they have a lot of stuff going on. So you can really click around here. They have all their frequently asked questions, and they tell you how to do it. They're also pretty good at getting back to you. So if you have anything that you really are wondering about, you can always email them. They get back to you in a few hours usually. Obviously, ask me. The other question that I'll probably get is how do I use this on my phone or tablet? RT Sports had no app really to speak of. This is where NFL blows it out of the water. And from what I've seen on my phone, blows ESPN and Yahoo out of the water as well. So they open this up to developers. So there are 2 apps that you can download on the iPhone, MFL Mobile 2015 and MFL Platinum, I believe it's called. Yeah, MFL Platinum is the other one. There, right there. Based on just clicking around, I like the MFL 2015 app better right now, but they're both pretty similar. They both do essentially the same stuff. I just seem to like the MFL 2015 one better, but it's a great app. You just log in. You have to you have to search for the site, click your team, enter your password, and then you're in. And it's pretty smooth. For Android, I believe there is also an app. I don't have one, so I don't know. It looks like they have MFL Platinum, so that might be the same basic thing that is on the iPhone. Otherwise, just try these. Most of them are free, I'm assuming, on Google Play. So these are pretty exciting to me, and I think you'll use them pretty frequently. So